Hey guys, this is part two of converting from a 2-circuit idle circuit to a 4-circuit. Now, part one, I've mainly covered the 4150, but I wanted you to realize something I forgot to tell you about. Where this will work on the 4150 throttle body, it won't work on the 4160 vacuum secondary, so you'll have to use this adjustment screw here, or right. You see part of it right here, but it's got a flathead screw here. Or if you're, smart enough catch, you can sit there and work this arm or weld something to it, bring you a screw out the side where you can adjust it from the top without having to pull the carburetor off. All right, so that's pretty much everything. And you still have to block it, do the same thing that we did on the 4150. We have to drill our idle circuits on both sides. All 4 corners have to be drilled. But the front's already drilled on. Drill the back. Make sure you block between the 2 idle circuit mixture screws. So you do the same exact thing on, just like I did in part 1. Alright, this is a 4160. This is a 4150 double pumper. This is a vacuum secondary. Now remember, one other thing on the vacuum secondaries, not all these are drilled. They're not like the 4150, the hole's just not completed. Some of these in the 4160, the vacuum secondary, they won't be drilled at all here. So you have to measure the depth here, and then bring your depth back here, and then you have to put your actual little stake here and a stake here, with your punch, and then drill through it. So you got to complete this circuit no matter what. That's got to be completed from here and from here to there. Air's got to blow through them. Now, on the main bodies, here, now the 4150 is pretty straightforward. All they do, they put the holes in them, and all you got to do is complete them. That's all you got to do. The transfer slot holes are open on all of them. The inner ones. The outer ones are the idle mixture screw holes, and they've got to be completed. They'll be drilled usually all the way up. All you have to do is drill about 3/16 of an inch in to get them to the right depth. If they're not the right depth, you just check them, measure them all the way around. That's the transfer slot. Then we're going to measure the actual idle mixture hole. They're all the same. This has been drilled here. I drilled it. I don't think I have one right offhand that's not drilled. Yeah, I've drilled all these. But it's only about 3/16 of an inch in, and you'll feel it. You'll feel the drill bit just like I showed you in part 1. You'll feel it just drop right in when you do stop where you drill. Now, on the main bodies, I like to square everything up. When I drill it for a 4-corner idle circuit, I'm going to run a primary medium block in the rear too. And I'm going to square up the jets. Everything's going to be square. I'm going to square the jets. If I run a power valve, then everything will be just the same from front to back. If it's got a 68 jet in the primary, it's going to have a 68 jet in the rear, and if it has a power valve, it has a power valve. But you have to remember now, look at all your circuits. Like here's the power valve circuit on the primary. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
All right, look on the rear. You have to remember, it wasn't designed for a rear medium block, so you have to drill that hole through there to get the vacuum to work the power valve. So always remember, look at everything, not just part of it. Look at all of it. If you decide you're not going to run a rear power valve, then you jet up 6 to 8 sizes in the back. And what I suggest, if you're driving around town, you're just going to cruise with it and all, that's fine. Run a power valve. It ain't going to hurt nothing. If you want a drag race, then I would eliminate the power valve and just go up 6 to 8 jet sizes. But you want to come in here on your air bleeds, and hit the center ones, the closest to the center, are for your high-speed air bleeds, for your main well, for your jets. The outside ones are for the idle. So we need to square them up. If you have to drill and put your bleed in it, or if you already got bleeds in it, then make sure they're all the same size. And I mean all four of the main jet bleeds, high speed air bleeds, and then all four of the idle air bleeds, same size. And like I say, the jetting too. Make sure the metering blocks are the same. Don't get something mismatched. All right, now that's pretty much all on the 4150. I'll go over the metering blocks with you in part 3. But now when it comes to the 4160 right here, you look at there and you got to have a gasket on that thing to drill it, to drill these holes. There's the main idle mixer screw right there. There's where it's going to be. And it ain't there either. So you're going to have to use the gasket for that, drilling that hole to connect it to the one you're going to put right here. Just like in the front. See how here and here. And what I do is I take a measurement of the depth here on the primary side. And that's what I'll drill and put this in a drill press or a mill. You want to do it nicely. You got to keep it straight. So it's kind of critical. So measure those depths, put them over here, and then if you want to, you can measure the depth here and here. And then when you get it center punched and get it straight, take your time and work on that gas. Make sure it's straight. Center punch, and then drill in whatever this one is here. And you'll have a complete circuit. You'll have the hole coming in and out. Now there is one more problem on these here, and I'm gonna show it to you. This is a later model Holley. It's a 8457-3. This is got more body right here, more metal right here at the body. So you can drill this rear idle circuit and you won't have to worry about it being exposed. It's got enough metal. Now, you won't do it with this one. I'm gonna show you. I went ahead and drilled it just to show you. What did I do with that pin? Got so many bodies up here. Let me just grab another one. All right, guys. What happened here is if you look at the depth in there compared to this one, you can see there's a lot more metal here than there is here. So when you drill through this one, here's what you get. There's not enough metal there. So you have to epoxy this in. Fill it in with good epoxy and let it dry hard if you want to use one of these bodies. If you can get the later one, I would use the later one. But I've done this before. I've done it on 3310s like on the 750s. So you have to epoxy this in, drill the hole here, and then put your gasket here and drill the hole up to that one. Measure the depth off the primary. Measure the depth here, where you can measure the depth here, how far to drill it, and then here. But you got to fill that in with epoxy. The other side, I think one with vacuum secondary, most of them will clear because of this stud here, this hole, this axle casting is built up here, and it clears it. But check everything. Don't check just one thing. Look at everything you do. And you got to do the same thing up here. You got to square up all the idle bleeds, the jets, and you'll have your heck of a carburetor. You have your 4-corner idle circuit. All right, guys, that's pretty much everything right now. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. I sure would appreciate it. And we'll have part 3 for you next, and probably tomorrow. Thank you. Good night.